So we have left a scrap heap and we're ready to deliver our cargo. Let's see. Here in the journal, let's continue. Here in the journal, we have to go and deliver the shipment to Davin, and we have a package that we have received from Narbo here in the city. We have here basically current available supplies. Comitatus can feed for 7 days. Let us see. Cannot move here. Gonna move here. This is going to be 7 action points. Let's move here. The crew management UI is now active. Click on the sheet in the top left corner to open.
Battle stations. Battle stations!
I have something around 1 minute to tell you what is Victor's Wargaming and why you should stay here and subscribe. So, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to the best Wargaming channel in YouTube. In this channel, I try demos, do videos about turn-based, real-time tactics, real-time strategy, grand strategy, and mill sims.
Impressive.
What are you waiting for? This is the moment for you to subscribe. Let's get on with the video. It is here that we have to... the crew management UI. We have a glossary here. The crew management. There we go. The crew management window allows you to manage your comitatus, and here's where everything is going to be to start changing, because we're going to go to meet all of the people that is traveling with us and the slaves, fighters, scouts, workers, whatever. Morale is the general mood of your comitatus. If it ever drops to 1, there's a chance that the comitatus dissolves and you lose the game. You can see the current effects of your morale below the rating. Obedience indicates how satisfied your slaves are. Low obedience leads to theft, runaways, and wars. Be sure to guard your slaves with enough fighters and treat your slaves well, like the Spartan style. Here we have the fighters can defend the comitatus and attack others on your command. When fighters would be lost and you have no more fighters in the comitatus, you start losing scouts and workers. Nutrition shows you how well fed your crew is. Low nutrition incurs penalties. Extra rations raise nutrition while starving your crew repeatedly lowers it. Then we have vigor. Vigor indicates how tired the comitatus is. Low vigor results in penalties on tests and in a drastically slower comitatus, which can spell doom quite fast. You can see the current effects of your vigor below the rating. So we have a lot of information here. We have upkeep as well. We have the morale here. We have the obedience, nutrition, vigor. So this is to recreate the feeling that this is real living world, and they are people that they need to eat, to drink, to eat, and they need to rest. Also, we have upkeep is much you owe is how much you owe to the crew, and you can pay them at the end of each day or keep collecting debt. I think this is because we're paying the actual warriors to maintain order, because we cannot maintain order ourselves because we are very we are occupied doing all the other stuff. Consumption is how much food your crew consumes each day, and running out of supplies leads to a quick death in the wasteland. Workforce is generated over here, is generated by workers and slaves. Okay, we have 6 workers and we have slaves. Also, we have the liberate and the discipline, so we can whip them with a whip. You have to have enough workforce to cover the comitatus needs, including beasts, crew, and passengers. Beasts of burden, you can see here. Going below the required number bestows serious penalties. So workforce is like a total workforce 16.95. So going below, required number bestows serious penalties. Passengers are people your commentators takes to their destination for rewards, and you can take on passengers in some events and settlements. They also consume supplies, which is the lizard icon. Where is it? Lizard icon. Wait a second. There's a lot of information right now to digest in here. So first of all, we have this thing which is the mount. This mount holds the cargo and can be used to create outriders by mounting a fighter. And I believe that the outriders are those guys that are going to go and scout. I think these are, well, it's different. These are the outriders and these are the scouts. Scouts can retrieve information about adjacent nodes. And this is, outriders are mounted fighters, exceptionally good when attacking, created by mounting a fighter on a mount. So they are mounted fighters. We can put on the mounts, the lizards, we can put fighters to create outriders, which are the fighters. And also we have the beast of burden, which I think, I don't have any reference at this point. We haven't seen if there is a difference in between the mounts and the burden beasts, but I believe that the burden beasts are fairly big. Butcher one or more of your beasts of burden to gain supplies. So it is if we are going to be left without any food, we are going to start eating lizards. So here we have, you can only mount up if you do not have any beast of burden and if you have enough mount for all the crew members. You have 2 of these. We have 8, we have 3, and we have workers. Now let's take a big moment to analyze this thing and all of these mechanics. I think that these games tend to present us with all of these mechanics just at once, with a big hit, but I think it doesn't look like this is going to be very difficult. We have the workforce, which are the workers and slaves, so they are basically working to get everything on the comitatus to work. Then you have the consumption here. This is the current total of comitatus consumes per day. We are 1 supplies equals 1 consumption, so we have 93 consumption of supplies. If we go here, we can see where are 7 days of supplies. I think this is because I think they are consuming 10 per day, something like that. I'm not sure. Daily upkeep and accurate upkeep. I think this is to pay these guys and the outriders and scouts. I believe they are decent in fighting as well, so I think you have to pay them. Again, we have the vigor here, the measure of physical state of the comitatus, which is 8. And we have effects of bonuses effects like plus 5% in max movement, max march, defense, and combat strength, which is fantastic. Sustained in nutrition, it is because everything is okay. So we have normal stuff, nothing more, nothing less. Plus 5% slave workforce, which is obedience. They are very obedient. If they are not to do something that we want, we are going to whip them. Okay, so morale, it's kin. Kin means that the max morale is 9, so we're fairly good. 5% in max margin. Workers, we're doing fantastic. So we have here crew details of companions, of fighters, of scouts, workers, slaves, mounts, and beasts of burden. How many of them we have here? What is the actual combat strength of them? We know right now that the fighters have 40, which is fantastic, and the companions have 18. We see passengers. We have a wandering old man. We haven't received the event, but we're going to go to that in a few moments. So here you can see the number of each crew and beast type you have in your comitatus. Consult the tooltip for each type to learn more. Outriders are special because you need a fighter and a mount to be able to create an outrider by using the plus button. There you go, outrider. This is you need a fighter to mount and use them, while the outriders are excellent fighters. Mounts with outriders carry cargo, and you can always dismount fighters using the minus button. So you have to balance in between what you want to hold, if you want to carry cargo or you want to fight. For now, add an outrider and then close this window by clicking in the top right. So let's add one outrider. We have here the cargo. Let's remember that we have the scrap metal that we are going to deliver to the next big city. Let's close this and let's see what is happening right now. Move. Move. You have run out of movement points and need to camp. So you have here 2, and to move the next one we need 3. So at this point we need to camp. You can see here, I think it's going to have a radial menu here with different options. Sending the day, being on the road all day, spending most of your MPs lowers the vigor of your comitatus that you can replenish by camping. You can also camp earlier, running out of MPs, which helps rise vigor faster. So if you have a surplus of MP, you can regain much faster the strength. Are you new to the channel? Here you get historical content, guides to play better, analysis of awesome stuff, super engaging stories. Are you aware of what you are missing already? You won't regret it. Hit that subscribe button now. Select the camp icon from the radial menu of the node you currently occupy. There we go. At the end of each day, the comitatus makes camp and settles down for the night. Supplies are consumed and movement points are refreshed. At each camp, you can decide to offer normal or double wages for the current day independently of whether you pay them or not. Double payment increase morale. You can also choose to pay all your debts to your crew at this time, or accrue payment to pay later, but the longer you delay, the grumpier the crew gets. Obedience and nutrition also appears here, as well as the option to discipline and liberate the slaves. Workforce, I think liberation means that they are going to become workforce, right? At least they are going to become something. The workforce shows how much workforce you need to maintain the comitatus, and going below the required values bestow serious penalties. This is everything that we have seen. So for example, we can end the day. Under acquire supplies, you can send your crew out into the wasteland to find supplies or scavenge, and sometimes even find other goods. Base chances for these activities depend on the perks, deputies, crew, and region you are in. You can also see the expected yields below each activity, and the cost of hunting and foraging is movement points or vigor. Hunting uses scouts and has a chance to get you a large number of supplies, and critical failure might kill scouts. Click on the scouts to allow the hunting, and foraging is reliable but yields fewer supplies. It can use workers and slaves. You can add them to remove them from the activity by clicking on their crew portraits. From the camp UI, hunting and foraging results appear after the end of the day. So we have defense orders. Here we have post, no guards, post guards, and post extra guards. Do we have tieflings here? Oh, so this is a Dungeons and Dragons basically. So we're playing here Dungeons and Dragons, and this is, yes, this is D&D. So the summary of what happened to your crew that day can be seen on the right. You can also talk to the companions using the speech. These are the companions. I never met with this. I think this is one of the guys that have been now part of the passengers, I think. No, I think it's a companion, because it doesn't say that it's a passenger. Companions heal naturally during camp. The chance of healing can be seen on the bar below the portraits. Using the button on the right allows the use of medical supplies for increased healing chances and effectiveness. Healing results appear after your day end. You must also set your defense orders for the night. A more lenient defense has a higher risk of a nighttime ambush. When you have set everything up, click the end day button. So how come we have this guy here? This is Morwen. She's a tiefling. Morwen is discussing something with a few scouts when you approach them. She sees you and steps away from her company, joining you next to the tent in the shadows. You immediately start to feel anxious, as if rose out of a torpor by Tarkian coffee. The effects of her Demonkin heritage, no doubt. Anything I can do for you? Ask what she thinks about Javek. Ask what she thinks. The comitatus, the past, Demon King. Enough chatting for tonight. You go back to your duties. Okay. And here we have toggle medical supplies. Okay. And disable camp healing results. Crew change, end of the day. We can acquire supplies. Nothing here. Pay later, pay now. Let's go and see if we can pay later, pay now. Let's pay now. Let's go and go for rations 100%. And shall we manual supply acquisition? Disable hunting. Send your scouts to hunt. They can return with supplies and sometimes other goods. I think we're going to send them to hunt. We can also do send your workers to forage and send the slaves to forage. Let's send all of the people to forage, scout, and whatever it says here that is going to cost us 2 well rested and a day. We hunt for supplies. No scouts harmed and no forage harmed, with more supplies and herbs. Dried and cut plants often used by healers, quacks, and medicine men. Pay now. After a long day's march under bleak skies and harassed by hot winds, the comitatus finally settles down in a wide ravine. After taking care of camp chores and checking on all your commes, you go to your tent and tuck in for the night. There are benefits to sleeping out in the wasteland. The silence is quite calming, tranquil even. Only the murmur of the distant fire-belching mountains, the whisper of the wind, and the occasional groans of your beasts can be heard, except something else is making a muffled noise you do not recognize. Your eyes flick up and something is wrong. I really like the narrative here. How is so descriptive, you know? It's so nice. What in Tartaris is it now? You rise to check it out. Leaving your tent and passing the sleeping beasts, you're just about to call to a guard when you stumble upon a large quadrupedal creature covered with fused bone protrusions. It is munching on supplies scattered across the ground, evidently from a torn open sack lying nearby. The creature is a chakra. I like that you can click here and see appearance. Chakras are 4-legged reptiles covered by the hardened yellow-brown grown together scales that cover their backs like armor. One thing that I like is that you don't have a picture here. So basically, they could have placed a freaking art here about about the freaking creature, but they didn't. And this is fantastic because this stimulates your mind, trying to understand what you're seeing here by reading here. So we have 3 feet high and a maximum and are between 1.5 to 2 yards long. They have thick, powerful, short legs that can propel them forward quite fast, but make it difficult. It's like a dinosaur. So a wasteland scavenger that hunts in packs. Before you can utter a word, the monster charges you. Oh my god, he's charging at me. And out of the shadows, Morwen leaps at it, tackling it aside and cutting its hide with her bone axe in a follow-up swing. Oh my god. You breathe out, realizing that she has probably just saved your life. Javik runs up to you just as the creature backs off and lets out a longer howl. There's more of these accursed things, boss. Must have sneaked past the perimeter guards. They're trying to chase them off. He blurts out. As he does, you can hear yelling and the sounds of battle from around the camp. The wounded Jacra is joined by another one from behind a cargo pile, and the two of them start circling you. Javik steps beside Morwen as they get ready for the fight. Fantastic, we have a fight now. Look at this. So, companion combat is turn-based, where 1-6 enemies fight against your team of 1 to 6 companions. You can see here the slots down here. You can use the skills of your companions to defeat your enemies. Protect your companions and set yourself up to the advantageous position on the combat board. Companions combat is made up of rounds. Each round, all the participants take turns to act, and when everyone has had their turn, the current round ends and a new round is started. This goes on until either your companions or your enemies are defeated. Combat board is divided into two sides. The friendly side, where your companions and occasional allies are, and the opponent's side right, where your enemies are. Each side has a front row, melee row, and a back row, range row. Each row has 3 positions. Certain skills can only be used when standing in a position in the approved row. So as we can see, these, well, I said these are like dinosaurs, but they don't look like dinosaurs. Now you can see that they have bones, something weird like a triceratops, I think, something like that, but they don't look as nearly as dinosaurs as I believed they looked. So we have this. Let's begin the fight. Round 1. Shahra begins the turn. The order in which combatants receive their turns is according to the initiative. So we have initiative 5 plus 24 for the round, 6 plus 18, 6 plus 12, and 5 plus 6. So it is going to be rolled. You can see here the Chakra here. At the beginning of each round, all active combatants at 1 to 6 random need to determine in what order they will progress through the round, starting from the highest initiative. The initiative order top left shows the order in which combatants receive their turns. So it begins this Chakra. Charge against Javen. Is he Javen? Javik. Melee skills can only be used from the front row. They can only target front row enemies that are adjacent to the attacker's position, or back row enemies if no front row enemy blocks them. Because of these rules, positioning in the melee is paramount. All characters can move, which is this. Okay. To any adjacent position on their own side. If they move into a position that is occupied by another character, that character is pushed out of the position it occupies and has to be moved into an adjacent free position. Not only do characters in the front row prevent melee attacks against characters directly behind them, but also make them more difficult to hit with certain ranged skills. So if I move this warrioress in here, then, well, I say warrioress, she's a warrioress. So he was in the same line, as you can see, so he charged against him. So now if I move her, so she's going to block this guy. So when you want to move, select to move the move icon and clicking on it and confirm it. Move Morwen in front of Javik to protect him. Each companion has 4 combat skills besides move, represented by the row of icons below their name on the character information bar. When you select a skill, its stats are displayed below the skill icons. You can select skills or move by clicking on them or pressing their number 1 to 5. Selected skills are highlighted, as are all available targets for the selected skill. Skill details can be viewed in the formation sheet on the bottom left after the skill is chosen. Now, I remember that in the narration, she saved the Vagrus, and now she attacked one of these beasts, and apparently one beast was wounded, but I don't see that here. I think it's this one. I'm not sure. Use the Mind Blast skill 1 to attack one of your opponents. Mind Blast with the Javik, the sorcerer. Javik's telepathic talent is used to burn the mind of the foe, literally frying their brain. I don't think this creature has a brain, but that's okay. Okay, never mind. Morwen's skill include options to push front row enemies back, the Savage Kick, and to pull back row enemies to the front, the Whiplash. Some skills are more complex, for example, including a move and an attack, which is a Strafe. These type of skills can be used to great effect in controlling your enemies. So you use the Savage Kick to send the chakra enemy to the back row. Savage Kick. You can consult the combat log, the sheet at the mid button here. Morwen uses Savage Kick on the chakra successfully. It shows you all of the rolls. Chakra fails impediment resist against the Savage Kick. 49-0. The log is scrollable, but if you wish to see more of it, click it to open it fully. The character sheet can be opened by clicking its icon 3 lines at the portrait, which is this. You can see all the combat relevant stats of the active companion there and consult the tooltips to learn more. The forfeit button, bent arrow icon, is it? This one? At the character's portrait allows you to pass your current turn. Character sheet. And more information here. I think we can do the same if we click here. Just moving this up. The sounds are amazing. I like the sounds of the UI here. Change to defense mode and stuff like that. We have also here the premonition. We have also the hypnosis, and we have the move. Still, premonition is the mind's eye can see the future ever so briefly, allowing to anticipate the foe's next turn. It gives initiative, evasion, block, and I think it's acceleration. I think hypnosis controls. Javik overcomes the mind of the foe, briefly moving them as he pleases. Let's do this one first. It's going to give it to her. Okay. Oh, I understand now. So with that, we are now up in the initiative. Fantastic. So now I can use different stuff. Devastating blow. We can use strafe, which is a melee, displaying great agility. The mercenary sidesteps. Swing her axe sideways to sweep 2 foes. Savage kick. Whiplash. The whip strike that attempts to pull the foe forward, exposing them for subsequent attacks. Let's do the strafe. Wow, that was a huge hit. The strafe inflicts 5 critical damage. Now Javik begins the turn, so I'm going to hypnotize. Who's the next one in line? Okay, throw back. Oh, I got it. So, if they are in this row, they have to be in the adjacent row to attack the other one. Critical hit for that one. The drums are fantastic. The 2 Jahra lie dead at your feet. Morwen wipes the foul-smelling blood from her axe blade as a guard arrived and talks to her. You okay, boss? Javik pats you on the shoulder. You nod, turning to Morwen as she approaches you. All hostiles take care of, she says. They got to some of the food, but we could take their meat and other parts to make up for it. Let's just go back to bed. The comitatus goes back to bed, or harvest the damned critters before going back to bed. Perhaps you will gain something from this. So we have here hides and supplies. We got 2 ivory, 90 supplies, and 5 hides. Great. So we can use this medical supplies. You have 10, will be used for healing. So there we go. And now we need to take these guys down. We don't have too much money. We have daily upkeep 3 and 5 we have to pay later. Postponing the payment, the debt will be added to the accrued sum, including what you offer for the current day. I think we can still move. Oh, but if we... Yeah, I understand that. So if you go into the camp, you cannot cancel the encampment. So they used medical supplies, so now we move here. Your chart is now active. The chart is your tool in navigating the wasteland of Sharin and planning out journeys.